Okay, step one for On Green Dolphin Street is to learn the chords. So let's go over the chords of this song. It's in the key of C major, no sharps, no flats. It's broken down into two halves. It's a 32 measure tune broken down into two 16 measure sections, two halves. The first chord is a C major seventh for two measures. Second chord goes to C minor seventh for two measures. Now let's just take a quick look at this here. You have your C and your G. These are in your chord guide as well. And you have your seventh and your third, your major seventh, your major third. As we know, to make a chord minor, this is a great example of some music theory here, you flat the third, so the E becomes E flat, and a minor seventh, instead of the major seventh, is B flat. So it's the same chord with these two moved down one fret. And that's a C minor seventh for two measures. Then a D, D major for one measure, chromatically down, D flat for one measure, and then C, one more fret for one measure. And now a C sharp diminished. Great chord, leads you right into bar 9, which is a D minor seventh for one measure, and then a G seventh for one measure, 2, 5, 1 to C major seventh for two measures. And now here's kind of the funny chords coming up of the song. Bar 13 goes to F minor seventh to B flat seventh for one measure, to E flat major seventh. So it goes into the key of E flat for a couple of measures there, and then back to G seventh, the 5 chord of C, bar 17, back to C major. First, same as the first half, two measures. Then C minor for two measures. Once again, D major for one measure, D flat major for one measure, C for one measure, and then that C sharp diminished for one measure, which leads you into bar 25. D minor seventh for one measure. Now E seventh for one measure. This is a great progression here. A minor seventh for one measure, then to B seventh for one measure. Isn't that nice? And then E minor 7, A 7, 2 beats each. D minor 7th, G 7th, 2 beats each, to C major 7th. And your turnaround chord is a G 7th. A turnaround chord is if you're going to play multiple choruses like we do with these jazz standards. You have the 5 chord usually going back to the 1 chord as your turnaround chord to get into the next chorus. Okay, so let's put the track on, and all we're going to do right now is play the chord and let it ring out until the next chord change. So we're not going to worry too much about the rhythm or the comping. We'll address that later, a couple of techniques for comping. So let's put the track on and just strum the chord nice and clean. Make sure we have the chords to this tune, On Green Dolphin Street. One more time. time. Might as well practice it. Try to think ahead to the next chord, visualize it, and play it. Like now D minor, G seventh I'm thinking, now C. That's the way you have to think ahead. Okay, so if you're having trouble keeping up with this tempo, please remember the fabulous tools you have to work with in the TrueFire player. You can lower the speed, you can cut the speed in half. You can loop measures. So if you're having trouble in the little 4 bars there in E flat, loop that and practice it. And every day bring the tempo up just a little bit, and before you know it, you'll have it at tempo. All right, so let's move on.